Continuing coverage now on the decision to close the Hampton Roads Regional Jail. The board voted unanimously yesterday to close the Portsmouth facility by April of next year. So what will happen to that property?
Well, it's technically the taxpayers from 5 different cities involved, and one of them already has their eye on it. 10 on your side's Brett Hall joins us live now with more on what is next. Brett?
Katie and Bianca, I bet you can guess which city that is. We're in front of the Portsmouth Civic Center right now, where the jail is the last remaining structure still occupied on this plot. And I spoke with the mayor as well as the vice mayor, and they say the sheriff agrees in their call towards the interim city manager sitting down with leadership of the Hampton Roads Regional Jail and trying to start negotiating to acquire it. If you've been following along the last few years, you know that the property behind me here, it has been the center of controversy. Again, the jail on the waterfront, the only building that hasn't been condemned, or I guess it was condemned and a judge lifted it. There are still inmates in this facility, but there's still a litany of issues with maintenance over the years. But more so, many people have long talked about the issue with having a large tax-exempt piece of property on the waterfront connected to Old Town, where many of their businesses are and really the center of their tourism is. So this week we attended the city's Economic Development Authority meeting, where we learned a study is now underway to evaluate the best way to move forward with redevelopment of the city's waterfront property. Vice Mayor Lisa Lucas-Burke is hopeful the ball can finally get rolling.
And we do need a jail. We want to be able to develop our downtown waterfront to something beautiful, and this is the opportunity for us to capitalize on that.
It's a good time to be doing it with all of the activity in Portsmouth, throughout Portsmouth. I think it's a great time to look at the waterfront, and this is kind of the last piece in the puzzle, if you will, for redevelopment and revitalization in Portsmouth.
That's Brian Donahue. He's the city's economic development director, and he says the study will be looking at what best to do with the former Holiday Inn site, Harbor Court parking garage, and former City Visitors Center first before it moves down to the Civic Center spot. He says the goal is to have an RFP, which is a request for proposals for developers, out early next year. He says this is going to be a public process. Also worth noting, in this year's city budget, Portsmouth set aside $56 million, or hopes to set aside that in the next 6-year total, to redevelop and remove this jail from the waterfront. We're live in Old Town Portsmouth. Brett Hall, 10 on your side.